After falling under the spell of the dark side, Count Dooku became a pawn in the game of Darth Sidious, eventually accommodating for the fallen Anakin Skywalker. To aid their cause in the Clone War, Dooku trained numerous assassins, including General Grievous and Asajj Ventress. But what if Dooku had trained Anakin Skywalker? How would this change Star Wars history? As you're about to see, a lot changes. As Dooku sat opposite Senator Palpatine in his Jedi attire, the secret Dark Lord of the Sith could sense Dooku's disillusionment with the Jedi grow with each passing moment, but he could also tell that the allure of the recently discovered Anakin Skywalker bore on his mind also. The boy had potential, as his master had foreseen. Suddenly, Dooku's head drops as he senses the loss of his Padawan in the Force. An unexpected occurrence, but not unwelcome for the Sith. The unpredictable Jedi could have posed a problem in the Sith grand plan. But for now, Dooku needed to remain with the Jedi. With the fall of Qui-Gon, the Jedi Order now have a dilemma with regards to Anakin Skywalker. Although Obi-Wan had been promised the role by Qui-Gon, the Jedi Council offered Dooku, sensing Obi-Wan is not ready for the responsibility yet. With Anakin now Dooku's Padawan, the trap has now been set. Going to Serena with Anakin, Dooku again meets up with Palpatine, who officially reveals his motives and true identity. Dooku also has the same motives, as well as a vendetta against the Jedi Council for their short-sightedness. Now was the question of what to do with young Skywalker. Sidious had been tempted to break the Sith rule of two seeing his potential, but for now, he would remain their secret and be trained to hunt down the Jedi. Establishing quick control over the planet of Sereno, Dooku used his control over the media to fake his and Anakin's own deaths, with the assistance of Sidious to cut off any forced connections with the Jedi Order. The Jedi Order sent out Masters to investigate, but the Sith always maintained one step ahead, predicting every move. With Anakin gone, the prophecy of the Chosen One becomes less of a discussion, rather how the Sith continue to elude them. Obi-Wan, meanwhile, does not take on a Padawan, as he begins to question whether Dooku and Anakin were still alive. The whole ordeal seemed too simple to be a coincidence. He wouldn't let go of Qui-Gon's last promise that easily. Obi-Wan begins to work behind the eyes of the Jedi Order to establish the truth behind Dooku's alleged disappearance, occasionally making trips to Tatooine to visit Anakin's family. This leads us to the events on Geonosis, which in reality was planned by Dooku and Sidious. Sidious had been noticing Obi-Wan's behaviour, and like Qui-Gon, recognised his threat to exposing the Sith. Dooku, however, had other ideas. Again, Obi-Wan is trapped in a force field, and not to his surprise, he sees Dooku. Despite Obi-Wan's outward calmness, he is screaming to look for Anakin. Dooku can sense this too, and summons Anakin from the shadows. Anakin emerges from the shadows with his blade already ignited, and eyes glowing a hateful yellow. Dooku grinned as he saw Obi-Wan's look of horror. Anakin prodded his lightsaber with the force field, attempting to intimidate Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan was smart enough to not give in to his emotions. He had another plan ready to be deployed. As Anakin left, Dooku asked Obi-Wan to join him to destroy Darth Sidious, but again, Obi-Wan denies him the satisfaction, for he would always be a servant of the light. Before Obi-Wan could think of an escape, his world went to black. Meanwhile, the Jedi Council could feel something was amiss. They should have heard back from Obi-Wan a while ago. As Yoda meditates, he feels the dark side invading his foresight, and feels Obi-Wan is in danger. He had not been oblivious to Obi-Wan's odd behaviour unlike the rest of the Council, for he had been researching the same thing. The Sith had obviously laid a trap. Yoda beckons the Council to the Jedi Temple's missions room, where they plan a rescue mission for Obi-Wan. With some knowledge from scouts on nearby planets, they know that there are at least a battalion of droids waiting for them. Sending most of their masters, they arrive on the desert planet, with gunships containing the newly formed Grand Army of the Republic. As they approach the Petronarchy arena from a distance, the clones surprise the droid army, with a barrage of blaster fire, as the Jedi jump down to finish off what remained of the droids. It seemed far too easy, as Obi-Wan was released from his shackles. Suddenly, the arena was filled with a deafening buzz, as Geonosians descended from all angles, with some staying in their seats to fire sonic blasters, and others jumping down and using their melee pikes to overwhelm the Republic. As the Jedi lines begin to thin out, Dooku emerges with Anakin by his side. Smoothly leaping from the elevated position alongside several B-2 battle droids, They begin to take out the weaker Jedi, as Anakin's dark side powers are too much. Obi-Wan retreats to the side of the arena and uses his comlink in a move that Grandmaster Yoda would call reckless, but the fate of the Jedi was at stake here. Moving back into the battle, he set about holding off the Sith alongside the remaining Jedi. After the loss of Qui-Gon on Naboo, he had set about changing his combat style to Form 3 Sorasu, incorporating his own moves. Putting this to good use, he set about tackling the ruthless Anakin. As expected for an apprentice of Dooku, his technique was flawless, and Obi-Wan was working overtime to cover every angle with the assistance of Plo Koon, whom was using a combination of Atara and Shi-Yen to work around Anakin's powerful strikes. Just as they were getting the upper hand, a dark shadow suddenly hung over the arena like a storm cloud, as a robed figure dropped to the surface from a shuttle. As the Jedi back away slightly in anticipation, the robed figure leaves them no chance, and throws them all back with Force Lightning, before stepping in front of Dooku and igniting his blades. Without warning, he thrusts his lightsabers into Dooku's chest, sadistically declaring that there could only be two, and that his work for him had been complete. As Dooku's body slumped to the floor, throwing up grains of sand, the Jedi staggered to their feet, before a gust of wind swept overhead. As they look overhead, the distinct silhouette of an M1 starfighter could be seen. In their distraction, they failed to notice Obi-Wan reaching for his comlink and issue further commands. As the starfighter landed in the middle of the arena, Obi-Wan front flips behind the ship and uses a lightsaber to make a hole in the roof. As both sides stare in bemusement, two new people levitate their way out of the ship and in front of Anakin. The figures are of Padme Amidala and Shmi Skywalker. As Anakin's eyes soften slightly, the robed figure removes his hood, revealing Darth Sidious. Sidious could sense the change in Anakin, and sweeps away the duo before they could touch the floor. As Grandmaster Yoda catches them in the air, Sidious turns to Anakin, but is met by a cold gaze, and looking down, finds a red lightsaber protruding from his torso. As Sidious's body was consumed by the sand, Obi-Wan calmly leapt out of the starfighter, delighted that his plan had worked. It was his trust in Qui-Gon that had helped come up with the idea. The belief that Anakin was the chosen one, whatever he had turned into. As Anakin dropped his lightsaber, his eyes showed signs of returning to their original colour. Yoda knew they would take a long time before Anakin would stop struggling with his inner darkness, but with a great deal of patience, the fate of the Jedi was now in safe hands. That is it for What If Dooku trained Anakin. Rather than commenting on the next What If, the next What If will be decided via Twitter, so make sure you follow my page and tweet me your suggestions. Link to that is in the description below. As usual, please like this video and subscribe for more tips, and as always, leave a comment on what you'd like to see next. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.